Hiya hustlers, welcome back to our channel, welcome back to our homestead, Wild Heart Hustle Homestead. As you can see, pretty bare at the moment as we are starting this homestead pretty much from scratch with a frugal mindset. We've escaped the 9 to 5 as you know, and we are starting from the bottom up. Now, I was pottering around in the garden as you know I do, mowing the lawn as you know I do, and I noticed something right in the far corner, and I'm going to go and have a little look. I think that we might be able to work with these, so let me just take you up, have a look at these. Some lovely blackberries. Now they're not all ripe, which is good, so I've got my little pot. I'm going to collect some blackberries up. It also goes around the corner, just around there. There's some more around there, which if the farmers don't mind, I might just have a little sneak in there, but it does mean that I've got to go through all those stingers, which is not too bad. But this is country life, right? I feel like I'm right in the thick of it now. I know I've mentioned a few times about, are we actually a homestead, because we're not actually homesteading, but you can see from the videos, if you look back on some of our earlier ones, we have come so far, and part of that is kind of living off the land, self-sufficiency. We're not going to feed us for a year on a few blackberries, don't get me wrong, but this is just the start of changing our mindset and kind of getting back to nature and doing what we love. And I don't know why it's always like a wind tunnel when I'm speaking to you, but it's a little bit breezy today. Still going to get on with my jobs, like doing the weed and feed after this and a few other bits in the garden, but I thought I'd just come and pick some of these first, and I'm going to see what I can do with them. But you know, they are in abundance and we've not even planted them. They are just here growing wild at the back of our garden, so I mean, I'd be silly not to take advantage of that, right? That was harder than it looks. Underestimated the prickles and the stinging nettle. So we're learning every day here, guys. But I've got a nice little pot. Let me show you what I've got. I've got that so far. So what I think I'm likely to do is I might try and make a crumble. However, when I've obviously taken the ones from the front that I can get to, but there's so many, but a lot of them are up high, and I think I'm going to have to come back with my wellies when I get the next batch, purely because just to protect my ankles from the stinging nettles a little bit. But I will probably wash these up. Like I say, I'm probably going to try and do a little crumble with these ones. They smell really sweet. But what I would normally do going forward is probably get like a big batch of them, wash them, put them in freezer bags and freeze them ready for over the winter if you fancy a nice crumble after you roast, that type of thing. But it's amazing that we're trying so hard to get the homestead ready, and this is just sitting there at the end of our garden. Oh, that's nature for you. Mother Earth is absolutely amazing. I'm sure all the little birds are feeding off there as well, and any other little animals. Get quite a few muntjac deers and other types of deers around here. Do they eat fruit? I think maybe they do. So they're probably coming up, because they come into this corner quite a bit actually when they walk along the field. So they kind of walk all the way along that hedge line and go into that corner, and as you can see, that's where all the berries are. So I wonder if they're having a little bit of a nibble there. So I was going to show you a little bit of where we're at. We've kind of got it back to basics now. that is what we're working with space-wise. This is our boundary line. I don't know if you can see that bit of string. So that's what we're working with, and then obviously that comes all the way up. And it goes around the corner a little bit. Don't judge me on my weeds, I need to get on the weed and feed. I'm going to do that right after I've spoken to you guys. And then it goes round into that space there. So when I talk about a fence, let me show you, just put them down for a sec. When I talk about a fence, see where the car is? The fence is essentially going to go across there. So it just gives us a bit of privacy in this garden. But we're so chuffed with how it's come out. Like, we've had to work hard, but that's what it's all about, right? It's all about the graft, isn't it? Just time and effort, really. You can do things on a budget, which is absolutely what we're doing, being frugal where we can, doing things ourselves where we can, but the most important thing is everything that we're learning, and this is essentially taken back to nothing, really. Growing the grass ourselves, put seed down, spent days raking it. If you've seen that video, you know how much fun that was. But now I'm getting really excited because it's like the real homesteady bits. And other than the kitchen arriving this week, we're starting to think about planning for what we want the garden to be. So I wanted to show you where we're at. That's where we're at. We're at zero now. We're at ground zero. We've worked our way up from all the minuses back to where we are. Now we've still got a little bit of a shanty town going on. Those plastic sheds have got our garden stuff in at the moment, like herb strimmer, lawnmower, all that type. Where this shed is covered in tarpaulin, there's actually there's a block base, so we're hoping to build on top of that to make it a shed. And then this white door here we're using for storage at the minute, but that's essentially going to be our log store. So we're just starting to think about what we want in the garden. A lot of that stuff does cost money. Obviously we want greenhouse, polytunnel, you know, in our minds we live in the dream, but we know it's going to take years to really become an established homestead. And that's probably something I wanted to mention, actually. Like, when do you become a homestead? Like, is it only when you've got stuff in the ground? Is it your mindset and how you're starting to build up? And like, I keep saying welcome back to the homestead, and we're a homestead now, but are we? I like to think we are, in heart and mind, body and soul, but technically we don't have any beds, we don't have any veg, apart from the triplets that you might have seen on the last video, so the tomato plant and the 2 pepper plants. Now we've got blackberries at the end of the garden, which we need to figure out what we're going to do with them, but they're going to obviously come in handy. We're going to use them definitely. I think, crumble, I said, didn't I? I'm going to do a crumble. I might show you that in a bit. But because we're living the life of homesteaders but without actually fruit and veg at the moment, just the planning stage, are we not real homesteaders? Is it like, as soon as you put your first thing, whatever that might be, as soon as you put that in the ground, is that when you become a homesteader? I'd love to know what people's thoughts are on that, because I different days and different times I think differently. I'm like, well, we're a homestead in terms of the plot, but we're not actually homesteaders yet because we're not growing anything. And then on other days I'm thinking, we've been here since February, it's now coming up to August, you know, we've been working on the plot, we've been working on the land. Just because we haven't been growing anything doesn't mean we haven't been getting ourselves set up and prepared and ready for the coming months. So yeah, I'd be really interested to know what you think about that. But I'm gonna go and get these blackberries indoors, give them a bit of a wash, and then we'll see if we can rustle up something with them. Or maybe I'll get that done and then I'll have to come back to the weed and feed. I really need to get that weed and feed down because it's going to rain tomorrow. Right, I'm indoors, hands are washed, got my blackberries, oven's on, put it on 180, it's a fan oven. Not gonna lie, when I walked back to the house, I looked at the measly amount that I had and I thought, I'm just going to try and get some more, because she doesn't know it yet, but I want to make a little crumble for my neighbour as well. So I had to get some more. I didn't film it because I was just trying to dodge the stinging nettles, which didn't work because all up my ankle is stinging nettles, but it's my fault for not wearing socks. Anyway, so that's what I've got. Not many more, just a few more, enough that I can definitely get 2 crumbles out of it. what I'm going to do, does anyone else use these? So where all our nice bowls and plates and everything basically is in that horrible pile just off shot here, which you've seen, I've been using these. I've got these, I think, in the pound shop, just like different containers that I'm using for if there's leftovers that we don't want to eat, then they go in the freezer. And I'm going to do the crumbles in this because I have baked a crumble in this before, not with my own fruit, mind you. So we need to get these washed and get that tea towel out of the way, get any gremlins out of the way. Not too many gremlins, I'll wash that after. So just give it a bit of a rinse. I don't want to, like, they're not mushy, but I don't want to mush them, if you know what I mean. So just got them in a colander. I think that we can probably say, is this the first Wild Heart Hustle? Oh, there's a spider going up my arm. That's why we're washing them. See that? Oh my god. Sorry, spider, you're going to sink me. Can we say that this is the first Wild Heart Hustle homestead meal? Not meal, but like the first thing that we've harvested. Can you believe the first meal, or the first thing that I'm making, and it was just free at the bottom of the garden. Everything happened for a reason. Didn't even know they were there. And to be honest, when we did the garden, those were the brambles that we probably cut down, but we didn't notice because it was winter and there was nothing on there. Right, these are going to get a good old scrub now from that spider. Make sure none of his mates are in there. I'm going to splash blackberry juice over my new worktop. Get these a wash. Did anyone else do blackberry picking when they were kids? I never did really any of that sort of stuff. Not sure why. I've never really been into fruit, as you can see. I've never really been a fruit person. I like a crumble, but I don't know. Kel used to do it with her nan a lot. We've just been chatting about it actually, and all these like old traditions and everything. But one of Kel's grandparents actually lived on a farm sort of thing back in the day, like before Kel was born and everything, when her dad was young. I think it's nice that we're bringing back some of these old traditions. Like I say, I never really did this sort of stuff when I was a kid. Probably wouldn't have liked all the bugs and everything on it, to be honest. But these are getting a good wash. A few little, like that bit can come out. I always thought with blackberries that they never smell until you actually cook them, but these, I'm getting a real nice fruity smell off these. Right, I'm going to finish washing these, get the sink cleaned, and then I'll be back with you. Right, they're all washed, still a few little drips as you can see coming out. All the little gremlins or anything that was on there has gone. Now, I'm going to try and go for 2. I might even make 3. I just want to be careful of dripping it anywhere. And then I'll drip it everywhere. You didn't see that, Kel, right? Right, bit of kitchen roll. Last thing I want to do is get this all over the shop. It doesn't seem to be as bad as beetroot with staining you, but I don't want to get it anywhere really anyway. Right, so that's under there. Let's get some in. Oh. No, there is just enough for 2. I'm going to put that down like that. You can tell I'm a bit OCD because it's a new worktop. I'm sure I won't be like that in the future. Hands are clean, remember. I'm going to put a few more of them in there. A few more over there. Now I'm not a chef, as you can blatantly tell, but I've got a good palate, I think. I'm quite good at making recipes up myself. Not really the sweet ones, because like baking and stuff, that's a bit more precise. Or I guess Kel's a bit better at that. but for me, just go with what looks good. I am going to put a little bit of caster sugar. I did double check online that I was doing it right, by the way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of caster sugar on these, just to sweeten it up a bit. Don't actually know how much you need or if you need it, but I like my fruit sweet. Just put a tiny bit more on there. Right, should I mix them? Is that what you do? Let me give them a little mix. I just can't get over the fact that this is free, right? And this is at the back of my garden. Imagine when I'm starting to grow everything. It's so exciting, literally so exciting. Right, they're mixed in. That's what it sort of looks like in there. You see? Then, I've always wanted to say this, but here's some crumble topping that I made earlier. And I should probably get another spoon out for that one. It's going to get sticky on one. Right. Spoon. And then sprinkle. I don't know how interesting this video is going to be. I'm sort of learning as I go along and I keep forgetting that the camera's there, so bear with me. I'm trying, you know, I'm trying to be a YouTuber. What is even a YouTuber? Just someone that posts on YouTube. Does that mean you're a YouTuber? Because then I am one already, aren't I? But I'm not making up stuff to go on YouTube, if you know what I mean. Mine's pretty much real life. Right, I think that's about right. Might even be able to go and pick some more with the leftover bits I've got there. Right, so there they are. Get them on the oven tray and then we'll get them in the oven. Right, so we've got two ready to go in. I've put them on an oven tray purely because I don't want them leaking anywhere. Let's get them in. See you soon. Right, pretty big day really. First forage, first pick of wild blackberries, first crumble with wild blackberries, and first time cooking something from the Wild Heart Hustle Homestead. So yeah, I think they're about 25 minutes or so in the oven. They should be. The oven's been warming up for a little while, so it might be quicker than that. But when they're ready to come out, I will check back in. I left them in there a little bit longer because they look like they needed a bit, so it's been about 30 minutes. But this is what we're dealing with now. Look at them bad boys. What do you think? Honestly, I'm properly chuffed with them. First Wild Heart Hustle Homestead crumble. Right, hustlers, thanks again for watching. The crumbles look amazing, as you saw, and that is just the start of things to come here on the Wild Heart Hustle Homestead. Really appreciate everyone joining whilst they cool down and before I take them to my neighbour. My next job is to now get on with the weed and feed. One of the jobs that I keep putting off, but it's going to rain tomorrow. Oh, see the drawers on the line. I keep putting it off. I need to do it because rain's on its way dear, and I need to get that done so I can then mow the lawn when the rain stops in a couple of days. So thanks again for watching. If you like what you see, follow along, subscribe, hit the notification bell, chat in the comments, everything, and I will catch up with you on the next one. See you later.